Imagine it's June 2003. You're a 10-year-old on a Boy Scout hiking trip to the mountains of Southwest Virginia. It's a foggy day, and after hours of hiking the Appalachian Trail, your troop arrives at a rocky summit. You see a survey marker bolted to the rock with the words, Mount Rogers, 5,729 feet. You're on top of the tallest mountain in Virginia, but it's not so obvious to you. And you're disappointed, as you didn't hike all this way just to see some trees and rocks. But as a resourceful Boy Scout, you're willing to accept a consolation prize. So you do what any 10-year-old boy would do. You get on the biggest rock you can find, unzip your pants, and take a leak. Yes, the boy in the story was me. And that Mount Rogers trip was the first chapter in a book I didn't realize I was writing at the time. The next chapter takes place 10 years later. In 2013, while working a summer job at a mountaineering rental shop, I was fortunate enough to reach the summits of Mount Rainier in Washington and Mount Hood in Oregon. The following fall, I returned to school on the East Coast, still daydreaming of mountaineering, and realized I wanted to make the sport a major part of my life. To me, standing on top of a mountain is thrilling, yet meditative. It's the culmination of endurance, with the realization that the summit is only halfway. Now, mountaineers are obsessed with lists, as many of you Colorado 14ers may know. But growing up in Virginia, I wasn't going to be doing any of these guys anytime soon. So I realized I needed to start tagging some of the highest mountains I could get to. It all really started one summer weekend in 2014. Over the course of 48 hours, my stepdad's sister and I drove from Virginia to 4 neighboring states, tagging the highest point in each state along the way. Now, most people would call this crazy, but Wikipedia calls it highpointing, and it's a sport practiced by thousands of individuals around the world. There's even a High Pointers Club with a newsletter, membership dues, and even an annual convention at a state high point. Now, many state high points aren't summits at all, and you'll find that half are accessible by car if you're up for long road trips. Most Americans probably couldn't even name the high point in their state. Like, has anyone here heard of Ebright Azimuth? I didn't think so. It's the high point of Delaware, noteworthy by a sign in someone's front yard, just a few hundred feet from the Pennsylvania state line. While it's obviously not mountaineering, it's a great starting point for any aspiring high pointer. Because then there's Alaska's Denali, the tallest mountain in North America, which takes 2 to 3 weeks to reach the 20,000-foot summit. Since Alaska became a state in 1959, only 300 people have completed the 50 High Points Challenge. But the first person to reach every state high point was Arthur Marshall back in 1936. He traveled by train and hitchhiked across the country to tag every high point in the continental United States. In 2016, a team of mountaineering guides, Maddie Miller and Melissa Arnott, set out to reach the 50 high points in 50 days, though they only needed 41 days to break the world record at the time, which stood until this past summer when ultra athlete Colin O'Brady shattered their record by 20 days. Yes, he crisscrossed the country, covering 13,000 total miles to tag every state high point in just 21 days. Woo! Now I'm really inspired to finish my list now. Today I'm almost halfway at 24 of the 50. I'd imagine soon I'll be counting down instead of up. I tag high points based on convenience, which usually means just having nothing better to do and being close enough to drive there. But planning a high point-centric trip is also a blast. And in the coming years, I aim to flex my mountaineering muscles and tag the remaining high points in the West. Now, many high pointers will tell you that the more of them you do, the more likely you are to become addicted. Some of my best memories have been made traveling to the far-flung corners of the country on long, high-pointing road trips with family and friends. Now, the big takeaway for me is to just have fun along the way. To complete this goal, you have to be the kind of person who is dedicated, but also realize that the completion of the goal is not the reward. In fact, many high point completers will tell you that they're now on to another list, like the 50 low points or the 7 summits. For me, high pointing served as an attainable way to get started in mountaineering. Now, I hope Highpointing can ignite a goal in you. Thank you.